AFN Evening News.
A showdown shaping up at the UN, Joe.
And baseball top sports tonight. The banger from Binger continues to bang away. Randy?
Joe, we have some cooler weather to look forward to on Friday and through the weekend with a continuing chance for some rain showers. Dee Dee?
Cartoonists on strike, hip joints in place, and Zeppelins remembered. All part of tonight's journal.
AFN News, from the wires of the AP and UPI with videotape reports from the ABC network.
The Palestine Liberation Organization's UN observer says he'll call for a special meeting of the Security Council if America vetoes a resolution recognizing the rights of Palestinians in the Middle East. And the U.S. is expected to do just that when the measure comes up for a vote, probably tomorrow. This is a dramatic shift in White House policy on the Middle East. Ted Koppel reports there's confusion over who's calling the shots.
Koppel, ABC News, Washington.
A former mental patient gave up without a struggle today at the end of a hijacking drama that involved a United Airlines jet with 120 people aboard. The man boarded the plane in Portland, then forced it to fly to San Francisco, and then returned to Portland, where he surrendered. He said he had a bomb, but no explosives were found. Maryland residents are warned not to pick up any hitchhikers today. They could be dangerous criminals escaped from the Maryland House of Corrections in Jessup. Some 33 inmates are part of the state's second largest prison escape last night. They cut through security screens, then scaled a 15-foot wall and 3 fences. 16 are still at large, and the union claims that there are too few guards. Hardly a day goes by that someone doesn't rob a bank in New York City. There have been more than 570 bank robberies in the Big Apple this year. James Walker reports that authorities are having a tough time controlling the problem because banks have changed the way they're doing business.
It seems as easy as stealing candy from a baby. 17. James Walker, ABC News, New York.
Confessed killer Jesse Bishop is scheduled to die Monday in Nevada's gas chamber. His former lawyers are trying to stop that date with death, and Bishop is trying to stop them from meddling. He says he prefers death to the agony of the repeated stays of execution. President Carter and the Delta Queen are fast approaching Mark Twain country. The President and his family are on the 7th and final full day of their cruise down the Mississippi. And the sternwheeler will make a stop today in Hannibal, Missouri, boyhood home of Mark Twain. Sam Donaldson catches up with the President in Iowa.
Here it comes, flying the presidential flag, the Delta Queen to Davenport, Iowa. Sam Donaldson, ABC News, with the President on the Mississippi.
President Carter ends his Delta Queen voyage tomorrow in St. Louis. And in a dazzling feat of public relations juggling, the 10 millionth visitor to the Gateway Arch will appear on the riverfront at the same time as Mr. Carter. The lucky person will receive a model of the arch presented by the President. As Mr. Carter floats down the river, some recent polls are suggesting that his popularity is also floating away. An ABC Harris poll shows 84% of the American people don't have confidence in his handling of the economy. But Mr. Carter is getting some advice. Former President Nixon says, ignore the polls.
My only advice to him would be anyone. Whether President Carter can do that, I do not know.
On the labor scene, thousands of commuters will be stranded tonight if angry Bay Area rapid transit employees abandon their jobs in a dispute over employment conditions. Also ready to walk out in Hollywood are those people responsible for the Saturday morning cartoon shows. The artists complain that most of the work is going to foreign cartoonists. The full story coming up on the Journal. It's back to school soon for most American children and back to the picket line for teachers in at least 4 states. AFN's Paul Macco tells where.
More than 1,000 public school teachers are off the job in Oklahoma City in the first strike of its kind ever staged in Oklahoma. Classes for reporting for AFN.
The Presidential Commission looking into the accident at 3 Mile Island hears today from the top staffers at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. The probe has been centering on whether the NRC should have been able to see trouble coming based on problems at other nuclear power plants. And Pennsylvania Governor Dick Thornburgh appeared before the commission with another complaint.
Pennsylvania Governor Richard Thornburgh, ABC News, Washington.
The Reverend Bernard Pagano has been praying for a miracle, and today it came true. The Catholic priest, dubbed the Gentleman Bandit, has been charged with a number of armed robberies in Delaware. Today, another man pleaded guilty to those crimes. So all the charges against Pagano were dropped, and Delaware officials have publicly apologized for his arrest and trial. There's a big investigation underway in Thailand. Richard Anderson reports that officials are trying to determine what caused the worst rail disaster in the country's history.
Officials have found at least 60. ABC News.
A subway train derailed in Moscow today, injuring several people. Confirmation of that accident was unusual for the Soviets because they rarely report disasters or accidents. But there is word today also about another perennial Soviet problem, bad harvests. And Garbles reports that the Soviets are anticipating a food shortage.
The Soviets don't speculate in public, but U.S. officials say the Russian... ABC News, Moscow.
Remember the $30,000 home? Well, you probably won't find one being built today in your average suburban tract. What we used to think of as the $30,000 home is now going for $50,000 to $100,000, depending on the area. The boom in real estate prices is causing many people to take a second look at a mobile home. Dennis Roper reports sales have increased 20% in the last 18 months because people like what they're seeing.
Analyst says people think for ABC News, St. Petersburg, Florida.
For 6 years now, the U.S. spacecraft Pioneer 11 has been hurtling through space towards Saturn. But there are problems. Chunks of natural space debris like ice and dust and boulders may destroy the Pioneer next week. But if it survives, here's a report on what the satellite will see and record.
The Pioneer 11 space probe at ABC News, Washington.
Back down to Earth and sports next with Joe Schmidberger.